at the same time, I'm going to broadcast on YouTube at the same time. So it'll be live on YouTube, and plus we'll record it. Okay, great. I think we can get started. Thank you very much for joining today's webinar session. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, with my colleagues, we'll be talking about how you can manage your business processes digitally in a paperless work environment in finance and banking industry. These are two important industries that we think about for our economies. And today, with my colleagues, we'll be talking about how you can run your business processes in finance and banking industry. Let me start by introducing my colleagues. I have Martin Kalif with us. Marty is from Paperless Solutions Company based in New York. His company is one of our solution partners, channel partners that we work very closely in New York and the region. And he'll be talking about how you can implement a paperless office and paperless work strategy in your work environment in finance and banking industry. Also, today with us, I have my colleague Sam Watt with us. Sam is our pre-sales software engineer from our engineering team, and he'll be talking about Eba platform. Eba is our enterprise-level electronic business automation platform, and he'll be talking about how you can use Eba and utilize Eba's capabilities to manage your business processes in a paperless and digital work environment. While Eba has been in the market since 1998, and we have more than 500 customers and millions of professional users, we find it to be very important and helpful for us to be sharing how you can actually automate and digitize your business processes in finance and banking industry. So we'll talk in detail about it. We'll be really practical, and Sam will be performing the demonstration for you to see the benefits of Eba on a high level. Before I start my presentation, I must remind you that we have our email addresses on the screen. So during our demonstration presentation and during this webinar, if you have any questions, you can send us in the chat box. Also, after this webinar, if you'd like to continue this conversation, if you have questions, you can send us an email, and we can schedule a meeting with you, and we can talk about your digital business process expectations, requirements, and how we can help you. So we definitely welcome you, and we are looking forward to hearing from you via email as well. Great. So let me start my presentation. So I'd like to introduce our company on a high level, Bimser International, who we are, what we do, a couple of slides. I won't take too much of your time, and then I'll invite Marty to talk about how you can automate your business processes in finance and banking industry. Bimser International, our company, is based in New York, and we are an enterprise software maker since 1998. In essence, we help organizations adopt digital transformation and simplify their business processes. We believe in digital transformation, and I'll talk about digital transformation more in a minute. As you see on the screen, while we are based in New York, we have global presence. We are actually active in Europe, also in Middle East. In addition to these regions, we are active in South America, Africa, Asia, as well as Australia and New Zealand. So we have global presence, and we are a group of companies. We are a growing company. We are about 300 people, and we are growing. And we are very active in various ERP ecosystems. Acumatica, Microsoft, SAP, MYOB, Sage, Oracle are some of them. And the reason being, our products are very complementary to these ERP ecosystems, and I'll talk about our products in a second. In addition, We are ISO 9001 certified and ISO 27001 certified. So we have quality management system in place to make sure we always deliver the highest quality of our products and highest quality of our projects at every single project. That is very important for continuous improvement. So since 1998, we developed these four products. We have Eba. Eba is our electronic business automation platform. We'll talk about it more in detail today. Beam is our asset maintenance, energy, fleet management system. Recently we also introduced Beam for commercial drone management as well. In addition to renewable energy management, wind turbine management, and asset management in defense industry. So any of your assets may be machinery, equipment, fleet of cars, trucks, drones, for example, commercial drones. You can all manage the maintenance operations in a digital environment with the help of Beam. Periodic, preventive, and predictive maintenance capabilities are available in Beam. QDMS is a quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software. It is designed to help you manage your quality management operations in a digital environment. You can manage your quality control operations as well as your ISO, FDA, SQF, ERC type of requirements, depending on your industry. Ensemble is an intelligent business process modeling and performance management software. You can also see a contract management application built on Eba that is designed to help you manage your contracts in a digital environment. And finally, we have a new product coming up, which is Eba's upgrade, I must say. It's a cloud native business process automation platform called Synergy, and we are releasing it by the end of March this year. On this slide, you can see how many projects we have deployed by the end of 2019. I had to actually update these figures because these are higher right now. And these numbers also show more or less how many customers we have. So as you see, we have more than 2,000 customers already, corporate customers, and we have millions of professional users nationally and internationally. Many reputable organizations, brands, institutions, and corporations put their confidence in Bimser International and Bimser's product range. Some of them I just listed on this slide. We work with 3M, we work with Ford, we work with Bridgestone, Nissan, Henkel, United Nations, Unilever, and many other reputable organizations and corporations. So just know that our products are solid. They are backed by reputable companies and references, and our systems are scalable. So you can see that we have the proof of it as to our references. Okay, great. So that's my brief introductions. As I mentioned earlier, I was going to keep it brief, so that's what I did. At least that's what I tried to do. I hope you find it to be informative. So now I'd like to invite my colleague, Marty, from Paperless Solutions, and we'll learn from Marty about how you can actually implement a paperless office strategy. What are the steps? What are the fundamental information knowledge that you have to have? And I'd like to leave it to Marty. Marty, if that's okay, please take over the screen.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Kevin?
Yeah, if you can share your screen.
Yeah. Can you bring it up?
If you click the share button. Okay, I think it's coming up.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, you got it. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marty. I'm with Paperless Solutions, Inc., also known as PSI. We're a document management solutions and document conversion services company. I'm going to be talking about document management today. Some of the areas we'd like to cover are going to be, some interesting facts about paper, a brief history of document management, paperless solutions, our story. Why is that happening, Kevin? Okay.
Yeah, looks like it's okay now. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Benefits of going paperless. What is document management? Go over some applications. What's involved with implementation of a document management system. Talk about document security, setting priorities, training, and some user stories, and some final thoughts. So let me start off with interesting facts about paper. Office paper has tripled since the birth of the. I don't know why that's happening. Kevin, I can't stop it.
Okay. I have an idea. Why don't you press escape button? Maybe you can go traditional. Maybe there's something wrong with the animation. So let's share the screen and let's just stop the. You can go slide by slide from the regular screen. Okay, yeah, you can go on the screen. That's fine. You can show us from here. Maybe there is something wrong with the.
No, it's going by itself.
Yeah, there may be an animation or some sort in PowerPoint. I'm not sure. So my suggestion is, why don't you press escape button, go to the previous screen. Okay, so why don't you just show us here? Like, let's go to the first slide on the left. Yeah, let's go here. Let's manage it here. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So as I said, we're Paperless Solutions, also known as PSI. We're going to be talking about interesting facts about paper, a brief history of document management, talk a little about our story, PSI, the benefits of going paperless, what is document management, applications, what's involved with the implementation of a document management system, talk about document security, setting priorities, training, some user stories, and some final thoughts. So let's go over some interesting facts about paper. Office paper has tripled since the birth of the computer. Back in the 70s, when they started to use computers in the business environment, they thought it would be the end of paper and we'd start off with a paperless office. But it hasn't happened. If anything, paper has just multiplied, it's been used triple since the start. So you need a lot of file cabinets. So file cabinet can hold anywhere from 12 to 16,000 pieces of paper. It costs over $2,100 a year just to maintain one file cabinet. You may ask, why is it so much? Well, the cost of the file cabinet, the entering of data, the documents into the file cabinet, the purchase of file folders, manila file folders, hanging file folders, retrieving information. It all costs time and takes effort. A standard file cabinet actually takes up about 4.5 feet of floor space, and the ADA, the American Disabilities Association, says you need another 3.5 feet of aisle space in front of that. So it takes up a valuable and expensive office space. An office employee spends approximately 1.5 hours a day just looking up information. If you total it out over the year, that's about 6 weeks a year just looking up information. They spend more than 2 hours a week finding and sharing and storing documents. 1 out of every 20 documents are misfiled or lost, and employees can spend up to 25 hours recreating each lost document. So you can see that paper is not only time consuming, but it also ends up costing money. So let me give you a brief history of document management. Back in the late 1800s, they used to store documents in envelopes in pigeonholes, little boxes that were hanging on the wall. They'd label the boxes. You have multiple envelopes in each box. If you need information, you have to go to the proper envelope, open up the envelope, make sure it was the information you were looking for, unfold the paper. Just took time. Then in 1886, a gentleman by the name of Henry Brown invented a fire and accident safe container. It was nothing more than a forged steel box that had a lock on it and was fireproof. Not that if it went into fire, the paper would probably just disintegrate from the heat. Then in 1895, a gentleman by the name of W.A.J. Cook, he came up with an idea, a receptacle for letters or other papers. Essentially, it was the idea for a file cabinet. Then in the 1900s, a company called Vertical File, which later became a division of Remington Rand, which was a big electrical manufacturing company, came up with a patent for a vertical file which was the first true file drawer. During World War II or after World War II, there was a company in Iowa called the Homo Knits Company. They made steel kitchen cabinets, and they were a maker. They during the war, steel was they were short of steel, so they made little index card boxes. After the war, they grew into larger cabinets, eventually file cabinets. Today, that company is called the Hahn Company, which is a very large office supplier and offers manufacturer of office equipment, desks, chairs, things like that. Then in the mid 20th century, microfilm had a big advantage. People were putting information on microfilm. It saved space. It saved time. There was microfiche. There was 60 millimeter rolls of film, 35 millimeter rolls of film, microfilm in cartridges. So you can see that through history, people were trying to get a handle on all type of documents. Today, in the 20th century, they keep information on a computer. They're sharing information to people's computers. Now, with the lower price of computers and scanners, we're going into having information on the computer. Back when they first started in the early 20th century, they had rudimentary document management software. Now it's more sophisticated with software in specialized cloud services or on your site. So let me tell you a little about Paperless Solutions. We've been in business since 2005. We started out to help companies manage all their business. We saw that all this paper was being generated. People needed a way to get a handle on it. So we started a document solutions and document conversion services. We started off by digitizing scanning records in a secure facility and also provided on-site scanning. We'd actually bring our people on site with our own scanners and scan the security of your office. And we felt that we could assist our clients more by providing one-stop shop where we would scan all your older records, supply you with desktop scanners so you could continue scanning after we left, and also provide you with document management software. Our goal was to help companies become more efficient, save them time, save them money and space, provide security to their documents, all by with the best document software solutions out there with service and competitive pricing. So you've probably seen a picture like this where offices are just crowded with paper. If you're finding your records are taking up too much expensive real estate, or you spend too much time searching for records, or you're concerned about file security, going paperless with the document management system will save your company time, money, and space and provide security to your files. The benefits of using a document management system, it's a simple it's a simple file structure. It allows you to find information by a name, a date, a number, however you would need to find information. It's easy retrieval because it's a simple way of doing it. You can put in an invoice number, the name of somebody, and up will pop the file. So for searching, if currently somebody calls you with a question, let's say for an invoice, you go to the file cabinet, you put him on hold, you search the file cabinet, hope it's not misfiled or out of file or sitting on somebody's desk, and then you go back to the phone conversation. If he needs a copy for collaboration, you'd have to either fax it to him or mail it to him. But if the document is in a document management system on your computer, you can email it while you're on the phone, and 30 seconds later, you end the conversation rather than hours or days later. You resolve the issues and you resolve the issues. So searching, collaboration are some of the benefits of using a document management system. And then, of course, the security. It's much harder to get into a document because of passcodes. And we'll be talking a little bit more about security on another file, file screen. As in terms of growth, with paper, you'll be constantly buying more file cabinets, need space to store the file cabinets. As I said, office space can be expensive. If you don't have the space, you have to rent more space. maybe go to a secure offsite storage for documents. So a document management system will allow your business to operate more efficiently, save you time and office real estate, providing security to the office. The net result being it will save you time, and time is money. So what is a document management system? It's nothing more than a program for filing and using to capture, track, and store electronic documents such as PDFs, word processing files, digital images, or paper-based content. It could be emails, it could be faxes. So it's just a way of collecting that information and managing it. So it also allows for people, administrators, to set limits, permissions, and rules for files, which I'm going to be getting into. It includes the workflow. You can have documents sent to certain people in certain time frames, granting of different levels of access to files, and assigning roles for specific users. Also, all this is increasing record security and efficiency. Some of the applications that you can put on with a handle with the document management system are accounts payables, contracts, just about anything you might find in a normal office environment. And most banks have needs for accounts payable or contracts, HR, engineering, compliance, manage their vehicles or their office space, real estate, any type of record any business might have. But banking also has a lot of forms, as you can see. They have a lot more documentation and forms and records more than a normal business might have. So, how do you go about implementing a document management system? First, you have to make sure that management is involved. They must show their involvement. If management isn't doing it, then the employees are going to say, why do we have to do it? You have to do a proper ROI, return on investment needs, you have to evaluate. Make sure you're covering all your manpower costs, cost of equipment, software, what service charges there are, if there are going to be any maintenance charges. You have to make sure that it's worthwhile doing something. You don't want to implement a system that's not going to suit your needs. So you got to do your homework. And if when you bring a system aboard, you got to prepare the employees. You got to make sure everybody understands why you're doing it. Explain to them why their jobs will be easier, why it'll be saving them time and money, save the company energy. It's good for the growth of the company, and it means that they can keep their job longer. And then it's always good to do a pilot program, because once you do a pilot program with a document management system, you start off with a small application. You make any necessary changes or modifications. You make sure the equipment is all working together before you decide to go to any other applications. You do one application at a time. In terms of security, with a paper file, anybody can get into a paper file. Of course, file cabinets have locks on them, but that becomes inconvenient every time you need a key to get into a file cabinet. But with a document management system, you can use a personal ID number. Only that person who has the ID number can get into a file. Then it automatically creates an audit trail. It'll tell you who, when, what, and who did what, when they did it, and what they did, so you can keep track of every revision that's being changed or what's happened to a document. It's permission based. It allows an administrator to say who gets to see what. For example, an HR department may want to have a need to see a social security number. Nobody else can see that. Or maybe somebody needs to see a total. Other departments don't need to see that. So it's all permission based on who can see what, who can do what with the document. Some people can only read a document. Some people can read and print or read and fax. Some people can manage. So everybody has certain levels of permission of what they can do with a document. In terms of, there's something called a two-sector authentication. To make sure that you're the right person, you enter your personal ID code. Then it asks you to send a password to your mobile phone that you now have to enter. So there's another form of security. So banking needs all this security. Even the software can even encrypt a document So only the software can read the document. And then, of course, there's always corporate security, firewalls, antivirus software, corporate protocols, all that. So it's much more security with a document management system than with a paper system. Then you have to set corporate priorities. If you're going to install a document management system, you have to determine who's going to be the project manager and the lead employees. They will then determine what documents need to be digitized and when they start scanning. You have to choose which documents you want to start with, whether they are accounts payable, customer files, HR, permanent records, contracts. You make a decision where you want to start. Then you decide on your indexing. There could be more than one way you may be available. It could be alpha, it could be numerical, alphanumerical, chronological. It could be with target sheets, file folders. So whatever works best for you, you want to keep it as simple as possible, something that you're used to working with, or maybe it's improved with the way you've been working. You have to consider the storage of documents. Is it going to be stored on premises for storage or on your site or in the cloud? You have to worry about backup. And then you have to choose a document management system. I request you go to demos of various document management systems. You pick a system that will suit your needs, make sure it's easy to use, and that there's future growth are all important considerations. And then, of course, you have to determine, are you going to scan all your older files in-house, or are you going to use a service bureau? You have to factor in the cost of manpower, equipment, and the speed to complete a project. So these are all the priority things you have to look at as priorities before you even start going paperless. You have to train, you have to determine who's going to be trained. For example, are only certain department heads going to, certain departments going to learn how to use document management software? Maybe it's only the HR department. Will only the managers and supervisors of those departments learn? Or are all the employees going to learn? But the one thing is that failure to properly train, mean the employees will get frustrated, they won't use the system, it'll create problems with the system, so training becomes an important issue. I want to go over a couple of user stories. We had one client, a small business owner. He was a sole proprietor. He had 12 5-4 drawer file cabinets. He had a single office. He was running out of space, and every time he got a phone call, he was always going to the bottom of the file cabinet on his hands and knees trying to find the document. He had a customer on hold, and he's hoping that it's not misfiled or out of file, and it was always a problem for him. It took him 2 years, but he scanned all the documents himself, but he didn't have to worry about growth anymore and never had to worry about a document being missing. So now when a client calls, all he does is put in the client's name or a date or a file number, and up pops the information. He answers the client right then and there. If he needs to send a copy, he emails it directly to the client. There's no need to make paper copies. There's no need to email or to fax or to mail the documents, which delays on getting things done. We did a doctor's office. A doctor gave his receptionist the job of scanning all the patient records. But what you didn't take into consideration was that she's answering the phone, she's answering patient questions, she's taking care of the mail, she's taking care of other office issues. It took him 2 years, and he only got up to the letter B before he called us in, and we finished it in about a month. So just using an outside service can save you a lot of time. We had another major client, a retail operation. They had a warehouse where they had documents on shelves, and they had to use a ladder and take these heavy boxes down to find a document. They were always afraid somebody would fall and get hurt, and it was just slowed them down. It was just very time consuming. So another reason why they went to digitizing our records. We had a mortgage company that had 3 off-site storage facilities. It was costing him multiple $100s a month just to store documents off-site. And a couple of days a week, he would send 2 people off-site to go to the storage facility just to find records. And then the most interesting was We did a Suffolk County here in Long Island Fire District. They were incorporated in 1926, and they had their own in-house fires losing records 4 different times. So just because they're a fire company doesn't mean that they don't have to worry about fire. So they were able to now securely store all their records in the computer, backed up off-site, so they don't have to worry about losing their records anymore. So these are some reasons why people go to digitizing their records. So some additional thoughts about going paperless. It's really not just about scanning a paper and saving it. It's more about saving money and saving time. And the absence of a proper document management will cost you business time and money. So going to a business office is not only going to a paperless office is not only a good business decision, but it's good for the environment too because you're not making copies and mailing copies. It's just a good paper environmental thing to do. And just remember, going paperless is not a sprint but a marathon. You start off one department at a time. You never do a whole company, wake up one day and say, I'm going to make my whole company paperless. You do it department by department, application by application. And you let your customers and vendors know that you're paperless. It will save you time and save you money. So once you do that, you start enjoying all the benefits of going paperless. So I want to thank you and have a great day and stay safe. And that's the end of my presentation. Kevin?
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me take over the screen,
Okay.
and we can continue our webinar session. Okay, there it is. Okay, perfect. Marty, thank you so much for the informative presentation. That was actually very important to learn about how to go paperless in terms of strategies, as well as what to be careful about, especially in finance and banking industry. And just like you pointed out, it's not only about going paperless or going digital. It needs to be in a way that it has to be secure, safe, and sustainable. That is very critical. And you actually emphasize that point multiple times, which I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Marty, please stay with us. We can also have a Q&A session, so you may have a chance to address some questions if that's okay. Thank you. Now what I like to do is I like to invite Sam Watt, my colleague, and Sam is our pre-sales software engineer from our engineering team, and he'll be performing a demonstration of Eba. As I mentioned briefly earlier, Eba is an enterprise-level electronic business automation platform. And I'll be sharing more information about Eba in some set of slides after Sam's presentation. In essence, Eba is designed to help you automate your business processes and digitize them. And with the powerful workflow engine, you can run your business processes just like you're running right now, or just like you're running on paper, for example, but it'll be digital, it'll be controllable, as well as safe and secure. And it's a digital environment to help you manage your business processes in this digital age. Before further ado, I'd like to invite Sam. Sam, why don't you take over the screen and show us how Eba looks, feels, and works? Thank you.
Sure. And thank you for joining.
You can see your screen.
Oh,
thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Marty, for your presentation. And thank you for joining today's webinar. And this is Sam, the pre-sales software engineer of Bimser International. And today I will demonstrate Eba, our electronic business process automation platform. And as for Eba, this is a web-based system so that you can connect to your Eba through your web browser, like Google Chrome, Safari, and Firefox, Internet Explorer, and so on. And this is the home screen after you log into our system. And on this home screen, you can see all the requests that are waiting for your approval. And also you can find the document that you favorite in our document management module, so that you don't have to remember the whole path of your documents, and instead you can have a quick connection right after you log in. Eba is a permission-based system different users will have different permission based on their role, position, profession, department, and group. So they will see what they are supposed to do, for example, the document that we have saved in our system. And on the left, these are the modules that we have in Eba. And thanks to the modular structure of our system, you can pick and choose the one that you want to have and deploy on your cloud or your on-premise server. So let us get into the document management module. In this module, it's helped you to manage your folder structure and also your document digitally. The basic folder structure is library in our module. So you can create a different library by departments, by locations, or document type. Once your library is ready, then you can set up your subfolders or upload your documents in your in the system. So Eba supports different document type that you upload to the system. For example, invoices, applications, statements, and so on. So those can be uploaded to the system and open in the built-in browser of Eba. So Eba supports different file format that you upload, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, image, video, audio, and even Cake file. So you don't need any other application or software to read the document that you upload to the system. For example, let us open a PDF file. Your file, the content will be shown in this built-in browser, and like you reading your document on your local, you can zoom in and zoom out and read your document, and all the version will be shown on the top right. So with the permission, we can get back to the previous version of our document so that you can see what is changed between the original one or the previous version compared with the current version. If you do not have the permission, as for getting back to the previous version, Eba will always show you the most up-to-date one on your screen. Furthermore, with the permission, you can also download the document or send it as an attachment in your email. So I mentioned the permission a couple times in my demonstration, and actually you can manage the permissions under this security page. You can limit the actions to the users and user groups. For example, like reading the document, downloading the document, printing, action like share as an external link, send as an email, deleting the document, and so on. So you can create different permission settings based on the user role, position, profession, department, or group. So this is how Eba helped you to make sure your documents in our system is secure. All the action that you carry out in our system will be recorded in an archive. So those actions can be found in this history page. The action like reading the document, downloading the document, those will be recorded with the username and also the date and time. So this is the audit trail that helped you keep tracking all the actions that have been take place in your system and against your document, so that you can find if there is any suspicious action occurred in your Eba. And on our left, I also want to show you is the applications, a sample process that we put together in this demo environment. And technically, we can digitize any business process in finance and banking industry. So as for the application that we have in Eba, there are two sides. One is the form side, and the other one is the flow side. So this is the example process that I want to share with you, is the expense declaration. So this is the form side of this application. On the form side, you can fill in the fields that we have in the application, and you can see the system can capture your username, the email address, and today's date automatically. And right here, this is the flow side. As for all the forms or application in Eba, there is a unique workflow. As for the workflow of this sample process, you may notice once we've sent out the request, then it will be sent to the manager. And the system will also check if the total number is greater than 500. If it is, then it will go to the president. If it is not, then it will be sent to the finance department directly. And as for the workflow and also the form design, they are not constant in Eba, or they are not fixed. During the implementation, we will learn the actual operation of your company and then digitize your business process in this platform. And as for the form side, we can have a table, and you can have a drop-down list that allows you to pick and choose the appropriate item. And also you can pick and choose the date from a calendar. Eba also supports multi-currency, so that you can have different currency to be recorded in our system. And you can enter the amount for this item and the description. You're more than welcome to attach any document that you want to have along with this particular request. So for example, I'm going to upload my image, and then it will be attached to this request. And anytime you can open this attachment in your application, and this particular attachment will be opened in the built-in browser of Eba. Once it is ready, then we can save this, and all the information will be fed to the table. And as for all the calculation, like the total amount that you can see on the screen, it will be done by the system automatically in order to minimize the human error, first of all, and save your time in order, while you're filling this form. And once it is ready, according to the workflow, we can put this form to the manager. So once we hit the send button on the top, then this request will be sent to the manager. And this is the flow history page that helps you to keep tracking the status of your request. And you can find who we are waiting for and who they are, and also the date and time that we sent out our requests. All the record or all the requests that you have sent out or complete in our system will be sent to an archive. And you can go to the reporting tool of Eba and find out all the requests that you have sent out. And if needed, you can also open this into this in your screen, and you can start reviewing the information that we have filed previously. So this is how Eba helped you to manage your business process digitally as you're in finance and banking industry. So it's come to the end of my demonstration of Eba on a high level. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, for the demonstration. Let me take over the screen, and we can continue our webinar session. Great, thank you very much. Much appreciated for the demonstration, Sam. Okay, let's continue our webinar session, executive webinar session. So before we go to the Q&A session, I'd just like to talk about a little bit about Eba, our enterprise level electronic business automation platform. So we heard from Marty as for fundamentals of going paperless in banking and finance, and how to implement some strategies Also, we heard from Sam, our pre-sales software engineer, and he showed you how Eba looks, feels, and how it can actually help you automate your business processes in a safe, secure, and controllable environment and scalable environment, if you think about it. So let's talk a little bit more about Eba in terms of its capabilities, its benefits and features. Let's focus on that. So first of all, when we actually created Eba in 1998 until now, our actually scope has been digital transformation. We've been working with thousands of corporations, and we've been helping organizations for digital and paperless for many, many years, nationally and internationally. So when we think about digital transformation, there are many different sources that you can learn about what it is, digital business transformation. So for us, digital business transformation is adapting an organization's strategy and culture and structure to capture opportunities enabled by technology. In other words, you basically benefit from technologies, opportunities coming from technology by adapting it and reorganizing your organization strategy and as well as its structure. And there are benefits of adapting digital transformation. You can be more competitive. You can be more compliant to rules, regulations, and laws. You can increase customer satisfaction. You can be more responsive to your vendors, your customers. You can increase your market share. So these are some of the benefits of adapting digital transformation. And that is how and that's why we actually created Eba in 1998. Eba is our proprietary software system, and we have more than 500 corporate customers using Eba on a daily basis. There are more than 50,000 business processes running on Eba on a daily basis, and there are more than 1.5 million professional users using Eba on a daily basis. So we are very experienced in digital transformation and helping organizations going digital and paperless. Eba has a very modern architecture. It works on cloud, it works on-premise servers, it is web-based, simple, you can access from anywhere, and it comes with a native mobile application. So you can run your business processes with your tablet or with your mobile device. Since Eba has a modern architecture, it is ready to integrate with many different business systems, business software systems, as well as hardware systems, IoT devices, for example, PLC devices, manufacturing execution systems, CRM systems, ERP systems, and that basically helps you have an integrated and digital paperless business work environment. And Eba is going to be the flagship in your digital and paperless work environment practices. Eba has modules. It has workflow module, document management module, capture module, and executive dashboard module. My colleague Sam demonstrated earlier in his presentation as to how these modules look, how they feel, and how they help on a high level, of course. So let's talk about these modules on a high level. First of all, let's start with the workflow module. So there are the difference actually. There are different ways to digitize and automate your business processes. So as for Eba, Eba was born in 1998 as a workflow engine to automate and digitize business processes for organizations and to help them adapt digital transformation. So the workflow engine is the core strength of Eba platform. So when we look at the workflow module, it's actually a low-code digital business process automation platform, and it has a drag and drop technology. So all your business processes you can digitize on Eba. And let's remember, every single business process, regardless of what industry you're in, today we focus on banking and finance. Each business process has two parts, forms and flows. So both parts you can digitize and you can design on Eba without coding. You can design your forms, the expense management process, change management process, quality control process, customer satisfaction survey process. You can design all these forms on Eba's Design Studio without coding. And you can also design the flow as to how the business process will be running, meaning steps that you'll be taking to complete a business process. In addition, as my colleague Sam mentioned, and Marty also pointed out in his presentation, security and safety is very important. And Eba comes with advanced security features. unique username, password, audit trail, as well as encryption capabilities that you can utilize. Also, we have 2-3-factor authentication to log into Eba system. These are really important security features on our platform when you're using Eba for digitization and business process automation purposes in banking and finance. Because you are liable, you have important and confidential information on your system, so it has to be safe and secure. So Eba is ready to provide you that safe and secure environment. Also, Eba comes with approvals as well as delegation capabilities. It has reminders, notifications, and escalations to make sure each business process can run continuously without interruption. And it comes with an audit trail, as I mentioned earlier. So you know who is doing what, who connects to system, how much time they spend for them to work on a certain process, whose approval we are waiting for. All these details are available is in the flow history or audit trail, also known as available on Eba. So as I mentioned earlier, there are more than 50,000 business processes running on Eba as of today. What type of business processes are we talking about? These business processes can be expense management, change management, quality control, customer satisfaction survey, training management, HR onboarding, offboarding process, for example, purchasing management, purchase request, purchase approval, RFP management, as well as contract management. These are just some of them. We have right now more than 50,000 business processes available, and I am sure you have in banking and finance industry, specifically in your company, you have your own business processes unique to your company. So all these business processes can be digitized, and you can run them in a paperless work environment with the help of Eba's platform. Document management module is actually a repository. As my colleague Sam demonstrated earlier, you can store your documents. Document concept is a little wide for us. Not only Word files, PDF files, you can also put your videos, audio files, drawings, pretty much any type of file that you can put on the document management module. You can put certain permission levels, so not everyone can see everything, not each document. That's basically subject to the permission. So that's why we have the role-based authorization infrastructure. And any document that you put, you can view it with the built-in viewer, so you don't have to download, upload all the time, or with the help of additional software, you can do everything in this platform easily. Also, you can search. You can conduct a search by the content of the document, by the name of the file. So all these advanced search capabilities are available on Eba to make it easy for you to find your files, documents, and knowledge that's needed. Also, it has folder listeners to automate business processes, as well as Microsoft Office add-on capabilities to link these modules to your Microsoft products such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft products available. Capture module it comes with an OCR capability, so it basically helps you automate business processes. OCR helps you capture the characters on any document. So on this screen, for example, we put a sample invoice, and OCR running with the capture module gets the invoice number, purchase order number to automate an accounts payable automation, accounts payable process, for example. In that sense, accounts payable automation, accounts receivable automation, sales order automation are common automation practices that we have been implemented in banking and finance as well as loan automation, for example. So a business applies for a loan, personal, an individual may apply or a company may apply. So you can actually run that loan automation process digitally in an automated way with the help of Eba in the background based on the credit history and other criteria that you have at your bank or financial institution. So we have a lot of automation capabilities available on Eba with the help of workflow engine as well as capture module. And finally, there is a dashboard module that is basically designed to help you have visual reports. These reports may be bar charts, pie charts, maps, and other type of visual elements that we can help you follow up your KPIs as well as monitor the status of your operations. So that's very practical, especially on managerial level. Great. So I think I covered my part as well. So let's see if we have any questions in our chat box. So while we are recording this session over Zoom, we are also broadcasting on YouTube Live. So we are also getting some questions, so we can also address. So there are a couple of questions. So first of all, I think it looks like this question is for you, Marty. So on average, how long does it take to implement a paperless strategy at a company? Especially, I think we are talking about banking right now.
Well, it depends on the company. It could take probably about a month to get. You got to first do all your homework, and then you have to order equipment and organize what you're doing. And then actually, if you're going to start scanning your older documents, you have to take that into consideration too. So it depends on each individual company, but we would gladly talk to you about it and have a personal conversation on what you're trying to do and help you out on figuring out what you got to do.
Thank you, Marty. As a reminder, we keep our contact information on the screen. You can see our email addresses on the screen, so you can send us an email to schedule a meeting so we can listen to your expectations, your challenges perhaps, and your business requirements, and we'll be happy to address your expectations as to go paperless and digital. Thank you, Marty, for addressing this question. There is another question that I see, so it looks like a question, Sam, maybe you can address. So how long does it take to design a form and a flow on Eba platform? I think that depends, right?
Yeah,
depends on
exactly. It depends on depend on the complexity of the workflow and also the form design. And typically, I would say a week for an application. What I mean is with a detailed workflow and also like 2 or 3 pages on the form. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So when we are designing a business process, or when you are designing a business process, we may also train you and can design yourself. That's a low-code, no-code business process automation platform. So it's pretty straightforward as to how you're going to design it. So when we are designing, when we are digitizing a business process, there are certain things that we are looking to have from your side as a practitioner. For example, we need to understand the form that you are using, what type of form that you are using on a daily basis for a certain application. Say, job application process, for example. Let's say you receive resumes for a certain position, and you like to digitize that process. For instance, let's say someone applies for a position at your company, so you like to digitize that process instead of paper-based operations. So we like to know like what type of form that you're using for job applications, for instance. And once someone fills that form, where does that form go, right? So that is the flow. So it goes to perhaps HR associate, maybe an HR supervisor or HR manager or another department representative, for example. So that flow that we need to know. So the form and the flow, we need to understand how we are running in your organization. So when we are talking about the flow, we need to know what departments are involved, what users are involved, what titles are involved. So they'll be part of this process, for example. That is also important to understand. So when we put all this together, then we can understand the duration of the development. So just as my colleague Sam mentioned, so that may be a week, there may be 3 days, 2 days, or a day, depends on how complex is the process. So there are a lot of depends, but at the end of the day, that's a low-code platform. So something that you design, you create the code, and you do. It may take you months to design it. You can do it in a week, which is a great time saver if you think about it. Okay, great. So I think we have one more question. Can you also tell us about the security features of Eba? I think yeah. So I think I mentioned briefly in my presentation. So we have unique username, unique password. We have 2 or 3 factor authentication when you are logging into system. We have audit trail, and we also have encryption capabilities available. So when you upload a document, so that document can be encrypted, and you can only decrypt it via Eba. So that is an additional layer of security. Sam, am I missing anything in other security capabilities that we have on Eba? Let's make sure.
and by the way, I just want to add one more sentence, as the system will log you out automatically if you stay idle in our system. So that if you left your desk for lunch or meeting, and then the system, like after 5 minutes, will log you out in case there's someone trying to use your account.
Thank you, Sam. Yes, so Eba is actually also, for example, HIPAA compliance, CFR Part 11 compliance, and some other regulations that we follow. So a certain period of time, we set this. So for HIPAA, for example, it's less than 30 minutes. If you don't use the system, it actually logs you out. So we can help you manage that duration until what time it'll be available on your screen, and then it'll automatically log out. I also need to mention the system itself is actually permission-based. So the authorization, the role-based system basically helps you also protect your information internally as well, as to just related parties and departments can access the information available on Eba platform. Especially when we talk about finance and banking, there are a lot of sensitive information for individuals, for businesses. So it is important to set these permissions in place and utilize all the encryption as well as security capabilities of Eba to make sure you have a safe and secure digital work environment on Eba platform. Okay, great. So before we end our session, Marty, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about paperless solutions and how we work together.
Thank you very much. You see Marty's email address as well as mine and Sam. So if you'd like to schedule a meeting with us, if you have any questions, if you'd like to continue this conversation, you can send us an email. Before we end our session, I'd like to email you to our virtual conference powered by Zoom. It'll take place on March 16 and 17. You can register on our Eventbrite page, and it is going to be really, it's actually filled with sessions about going paperless, digital and work environment, digital transformation, and we'll talk more about also our software systems and how they are being used in different industries, and you can also hear some use cases from our partners and customers. So we are looking forward to seeing you at our annual conference called Synergize. This year, we call it Synergize 2021, so we are hoping to see you there. Also, as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, we'll be releasing our new True Cloud low-code, no-code business process automation platform. It's basically Eba platform's upgrade, I must say, so there is a correlation. And it'll be available starting end of this quarter, and we'll be releasing more information about our new platform during Synergize 2021 at our annual virtual conference. We have a new website, if you haven't visited yet, bimserinc.net. It works also with bimserinc.com, and it's a newly designed website. We have a lot of information about our software products. Also, we add more use cases and use case videos if you'd like to watch them, which is linked to our YouTube channel. So please visit our new website, and if you have any feedback, please let us know. We also have a live chat function available on our website, so you can ask your questions to us right away on our website without even sending us an email, so we can have a live conversation. Speaking of our YouTube channel, we have a very active YouTube channel. I have to say that we have more than 200, close to 300 videos actually available on YouTube. We are going for 300, almost there. And there are a lot of videos. These product videos are available on YouTube channel. We have use cases available, use case videos, as well as webinar recordings on our YouTube channel. So please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe so that you can be informed about coming available videos. Our Eventbrite page is designed to help you see our coming events. Nowadays, all the events are actually virtually powered by Zoom. So you can see the list of our coming webinars and events available on our Eventbrite page and register right there on the system. So that'd be great. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. We are looking forward to seeing you in our coming executive webinar sessions. Thank you and have a nice day.